All right, good morning, everybody. I am Aaron Fichtner. I'm the president of the New Jersey Council of County Colleges, and it is a real honor to be here with all of you and to be here with my friend and colleague, Judy Savage. Judy and I have worked together for many years, and we're both very excited to have the opportunity to bring all of you together to talk about this really important partnership at this really important time in our state's history. So I think this is the first time in many, many years that we've tried to bring together every community college president and every superintendent of the vocational technical schools. And so I just want to thank you all for taking time out of your incredibly busy and complicated schedules. I know this is a very busy and complex and rapidly moving time for all of us. But I think the fact that all of you are here is really an indication of a strong commitment both from community colleges and vocational technical schools that this partnership is really critically important to our institutions, to our state, to our communities. And so it really is exciting to see so many of you here to engage in this really important conversation, to share information, and then to really talk about how do we move forward. I am convinced that our state needs strong community colleges and strong vocational technical schools now more than ever. We are obviously in the midst of the worst public health crisis in probably 100 years, the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression, and we are facing a reckoning based on the terrible tragedies and murders of our African American colleagues and friends across the country. And this is a real time for us to address systemic racism. So I know that community colleges and vocational technical schools are really incredibly well positioned to make sure that we have a skilled workforce, that we're giving people the skills, the knowledge, and the abilities that will serve them well. And we are incredibly well positioned to continue to open up doors of economic opportunity and to address systemic racism in our state and in our communities. So the challenges are great, but I think the opportunities are equally great, perhaps even greater. If we work together, build on the strong collaborations that currently exist to raise awareness among our state partners and others about the incredible work that we're doing, and really find really cutting edge solutions for how do we work together to address the issues that we so deeply care about for our students and for our communities and for our state. So thank you all. Look forward to this incredibly important discussion and look forward to working with all of you collaboratively in the months and years ahead. So thank you all for being here, and back to you, Judy.
Thank you, Aaron, and thank you for your partnership and for making this happen today, for bringing us all together. The notion of increasing collaboration between our county vocational schools and county colleges is not a new idea. It's something that we've been talking about and working towards for many years, and all of you have been working together in one way or another for a long time. But as Aaron noted, what's new and different right now is the circumstance in which we find ourselves. This is a fast-changing and very challenging environment. The jobs in the economy are evolving. College affordability is paramount. Of course, the pandemic has put a spotlight on historical inequalities, and resources are just tighter than they've ever been before. The challenges are historic, but we have to ask, is this confluence of trends and crises also an opportunity for us to rethink some of the longstanding relationships and find better, more forward-looking ways to work together? We put together a joint white paper that calls for increased collaboration, and it builds on the 2028 framework that the county colleges developed to suggest some very specific things that county vocational schools and community colleges can do together to better serve our students, to serve employers, communities, and our state as a whole. It makes 4 recommendations. First, county vocational schools and community colleges should work together to implement the new law for work and learn consortia by developing career pathways that incorporate both stackable credentials and degrees and are aligned to workforce needs. The pathways and skills collaboratives outlined by community colleges will help to support and inform that effort. We should take a look at and expand dual credit opportunities and identify some viable models that institutions can adapt to reduce the time and the cost of earning a degree and get our students into the workforce faster. Recognizing the fiscal constraints that face all institutions, schools, and colleges should actively look for ways to share facilities and develop joint ventures to leverage existing resources, including the Securing Our Children's Future Bond Act. County leaders want and need to see their institutions working together to serve their residents. And finally, as we do all of these things, we should prioritize equity and opportunity as institutions and as state organizations by looking for promising strategies to make high quality opportunities and career pathways available to all New Jerseyans, and especially focus on the industries and areas where minority and economically disadvantaged residents have been underrepresented. Today's meeting's just a start. This is going to take a lot of conversations to tackle some ambitious goals. We wish we were together in a room today as we had planned to do last April, but we agreed that this conversation really can't wait until after the pandemic. So our plan is to bring the county vocational school leaders up to speed with the agenda that community colleges have developed for action. We want to review some best practices for working together by hearing from some counties that have particularly strong collaborations in place. And then we're going to break into smaller groups to begin regional discussions about some specific things that we might be able to tackle together. So before we launch into that, some quick housekeeping. Thank you everybody for having your video on. If you're not presenting, please be on mute. Everybody should have received a packet. Doesn't seem like everybody's into wearing their lays and beads, so that's fine, but the lays will identify where you're going for breakout groups. When you go to a vocational school for a meeting, you're always well fed by our talented students. We couldn't pull that off this morning, so please enjoy your granola bar. Use the chat feature of Zoom if you would like to share comments or information as we go forward. If you want to ask a question, you can use the chat feature for that. We will get to as many questions as we can during the session, but we are really going to try to stick tightly to a very ambitious time schedule to fit within the 2-hour time frame. So if we don't get to questions, we will follow them up. We are recording the main sessions today so that we can go back and review anything that's said. We will not be recording the breakout sessions. So with that, I want to thank you for spending your morning with us. We hope you'll leave as excited as Aaron's team and my team are about this whole endeavor.